My name is Leo. I'm a high school history teacher. When I married my wife, Anna, my parents did not come. They sent a $50 toaster. 6 weeks later, my grandfather died. My parents thought they inherited $20 million. They went to a dealership to buy a $200,000 Porsche. Their purchase was declined. It was declined because, as it turned out, I owned their entire life. This is the story of how that happened. The day I married Anna was the happiest day of my life. It was also one of the saddest. We held the ceremony in a small public garden. We had about 30 people, our friends, Anna's family. We did not have much money. I am a teacher. She is a librarian. We value books more than bank accounts. My parents, Arthur and Catherine, live in a different world. They live in my grandfather's mansion, Willow Creek. They live a life of country clubs, leased luxury cars, and judging others. I am their only son. I am their greatest disappointment. I did not become an investment banker. I became a teacher. I did not marry a socialite. I married a librarian. I called my mother that morning just one last time. The sun was out. Anna was in the next room getting ready. I could hear her laughing. I stepped onto the balcony of our small apartment. "Mom," I said, "it's not too late. Please just come. I want you to be here." Her voice was cold. I knew that coldness. It was the sound of disappointment. "Leo, we discussed this. We are not going to stand by and applaud your decision to throw your life away. This, woman, is not our family. You have made your choice. Do not ask us to approve of it. Goodbye, Leo." She hung up. She did not yell. She just erased me. I stood there for a minute. I looked at the traffic on the street below. I took a deep breath. I put the phone in my pocket. I walked back inside. Anna looked at me. She saw it on my face. "They're not coming, are they?" I shook my head. She did not say, "I told you so." She did not get angry. She just came over and took my hand. "Then it's their loss," she said. "I am here. I am not going anywhere." And so I got married in the garden with our friends. And there were 2 empty chairs in the front row, a perfect, painful space where my parents should have been. We had a small reception in the garden. We had a potluck. It was wonderful. It was real. We danced. We laughed. The 2 empty chairs were still there, but they felt smaller as the night went on. We were happy, genuinely happy. The next day, a package arrived at our apartment. It was a large box. "Maybe they changed their minds," Anna said. "Maybe it's an apology." I knew better. My parents do not apologize. They justify. I opened the box. Inside, surrounded by styrofoam, was a toaster. A $50 chrome 4-slice toaster. The kind you buy at a discount store. There was a small card. It was not a wedding card. It was a generic best wishes card. Inside, my mother's perfect handwriting, "Arthur and Catherine." Anna looked at it. She started to cry. These were not sad tears. They were tears of frustration. A toaster, Leo. After everything, they couldn't even sign their names with love. I looked at the toaster. It was a message. It was an insult wrapped in an obligation. It said, "This is what your marriage is worth to us, the cost of a cheap appliance." I did not get angry. I felt something else, a cold clarity. I unplugged the old toaster we had. I plugged in the new one. "Well," I said, "we needed a new toaster." Anna looked at me and laughed. "You're ridiculous." "No," I said, "I'm done. They drew the line, Anna, not me. They drew it. I'm just finally accepting it." We made toast in their stupid, symbolic toaster. It tasted fine. We settled into our life. We were Mr. and Mrs. Leo. We were happy. My job was fulfilling. Her job was too. We were saving for a small house. We were planning a real honeymoon for the next summer. The wound from my parents was there. It was a dull ache. I did not call them. They did not call me. The silence was loud. 6 weeks after the wedding, the phone rang. It was late. It was my Aunt Myra, my father's sister. Her voice was shrill. "Leo, you need to come to the hospital. It's your grandfather. He had a stroke." My blood ran cold. Grandfather Julian. He was my father's father, but he was nothing like him. Julian was the patriarch. He was old money. He built the family business from nothing. He was quiet. He was wise. He was the only one in my family who saw me. He visited my small apartment. He played chess with me. He loved Anna. He met her once before we were engaged. He took her hand and said, "This one has a steel spine, Leo. Do not let her go." He had sent us a real wedding gift, a check, a generous one, and a note. "Your parents are fools, you are not. Love, Julian." I rushed to the hospital. Anna came with me. We got to the ICU. My parents were there. My father, Arthur, was packing. My mother, Catherine, was checking her makeup in a compact. "Oh, Leo," my mother said, as if I were late for dinner. "You're here." "How is he?" I asked. "He's unconscious," my father said. "The doctors say it's final, he's not coming back." He said it with a strange finality, not sadness, impatience. My Aunt Myra was already whispering to my mother about the estate and who gets what. I stood by my grandfather's bed. He looked small. I held his hand. It was still warm. I sat with him for 2 hours. My parents and my aunt went to the cafeteria. They were talking about appraisers. They were already spending the money. Anna and I were the only ones in the room when he passed. The funeral was a performance. It was exactly what my grandfather would have hated. My parents insisted on a grand affair, hundreds of people, a massive floral display. My father gave the eulogy. He spoke about a titan of industry and a legacy of success. He did not mention my grandfather's kindness. He did not mention his love of chess. He did not mention his charity. He talked about assets. My mother wore a black dress that looked like it was from a fashion show. She floated through the crowd, accepting condolences. She and my father were playing the role of the grieving heirs. They were now the heads of the family. Anna and I sat in the back. We were observers. After the service at the reception at the mansion, my father's brother, Uncle Gene, slapped me on the back. "Tough break, Leo. But hey, looks like your dad is finally in charge. Maybe he'll get you a real job." My father overheard. He smiled. "We'll see, Gene. Leo has his priorities." He looked at Anna. "We all have our priorities." The insult was clear. I was the poor son, the charity case, the fool who married for love. I took Anna's hand. "We're leaving," I said. My mother stopped me at the door. "Leo, the will reading is tomorrow, at the lawyer's office, 10 a.m. Please try to dress appropriately." She looked at my simple black suit. It was the only one I owned. "Try," she repeated. The next morning we met at the offices of Mr. Davies, my grandfather's lawyer. The office was old. Wood panels, leather chairs. It smelled like paper and wisdom. My parents were there, Arthur and Catherine, my aunt and uncle, Myra and Jean. They were all there. They were buzzing. They were trying to look sad. They looked like vultures. Anna and I sat on a small sofa. She held my hand. Mr. Davies entered. He was a tall, thin man. He had no expression. He sat. He opened a thick, leather-bound document. "We are here to read the last will and testament of Julian." He started with the small bequests, to charity, to old employees. My parents looked impatient. Then he got to the main assets. "To my sister-in-law Myra and my brother-in-law Gene, I leave a cash sum of $50,000 each. May you spend it on something that brings you joy rather than just status." My aunt sniffed. She was clearly insulted. $50,000 was nothing to them. Mr. Davies continued. "To my son Arthur and his wife Catherine." My parents sat up. My father fixed his tie. This was their moment. "I leave the family estate, Willow Creek, and all its contents. I also leave them my full art collection, my cars, and my wine cellar. I leave them the life they have always enjoyed." My mother's smile was tight. She had won. My father looked smug. He nodded as if this was obvious. He was the new king. Mr. Davies put on his glasses. He looked at the next page. "And finally, to my grandson Leo." My parents looked at me. Their faces were full of pity, a smug, terrible pity. What would I get? A token amount. "To my grandson Leo," Mr. Davies read, "who already possesses the things I value most, integrity, humility, and a good wife. I leave my old garden workshop at Willow Creek and all of its contents. Specifically, I leave him my old wooden chess set and the rusty key that hangs on the nail by the door." The room was silent. Then my Uncle Gene snorted. My Aunt Myra giggled. A shed, he gets a shed. My father actually laughed. He turned to me. A shed, Leo, a shed and a key. My mother looked triumphant. She had known her son was worthless, and now the will proved it. I felt my face burn. I was humiliated, a shed, a key to nothing. It was a joke. I looked at Anna. She was not laughing. She was looking at me. She was angry, angry for me. That is all, Mr. Davies said. He closed the will. My father stood up. He walked over to me. He clapped me on the shoulder, a hard, condescending clap. Well, son, you got your shed. You can teach history in it. He laughed again. Catherine, Myra, Jean, we are going to lunch, a real lunch to celebrate Dad's life. They walked out of the office. They were loud. They were happy. They had won. I was the fool, the boy who got a rusty key. Section 7. The Celebration. Anna and I sat in the lawyer's office. We were alone with Mr. Davies. I was just numb. I could not believe my grandfather would do this. He loved me. Why would he humiliate me? Mr. Davies, I said, shed. Mr. Davies looked at me. His face was no longer blank. He looked kind. Your grandfather was a very specific man, Leo. He believed in intent. The will is filed. The assets are transferred. I suggest you go to your workshop, and I suggest you do it today. He handed me a simple, letter-sized envelope. This is also for you. Your grandfather specified I give it to you only when you were alone. I took the envelope. We left the office. In the parking lot, we saw my parents. They were talking to my aunt and uncle. They were ecstatic. The first thing we do is sell that awful art, my mother said. It's so dated, we need a complete refresh. I'm finally getting a new car, my father announced. The lease on the Mercedes is up. I'm going to the Porsche dealership today. I'm finally getting the 911, the Turbo S in silver. I deserve it. Oh, Arthur, yes, my mother cooed. Let's do it right now. They got into their old car. They peeled out of the parking lot. They were on their way to buy a $200,000 car. I was on my way to see my shed. This part of the story I learned later, from the salesman, from the bank. My parents, Arthur and Catherine, walked into the Porsche dealership at 11:30 a.m. They were high on victory. They felt rich. They were rich. They walked straight to the silver 911 Turbo S in the showroom. We'll take this one, my father said. No test drive. No questions. The salesman was thrilled. This was the easiest commission of his life. They sat in the finance office. How will you be paying? The salesman asked. Cash, my father said. He loved that word. Well, a wire transfer from our inheritance. It was just settled. The salesman nodded. Of course, sir. We just need to run a standard credit check to verify identity for the transfer. A formality. My father laughed. Go ahead. You'll find we are very qualified. They signed the initial papers. They took a photo with the car. My mother posted it online. The caption, celebrating Arthur's new toy, Porsche inheritance blessed. The salesman went to his office. He ran the check. He waited. The computer screen blinked. Pending. He ran it again. Flagged. He made a call to the bank. He was on hold. He was confused. These people looked rich. They acted rich. After 10 minutes, his manager came over. There is a problem, the manager said. A big one. While my parents were at the dealership, Anna and I drove to Willow Creek, the estate. It felt strange. I was not welcome here. We walked past the giant, cold mansion. We went to the garden. In the back, behind the overgrown rose bushes, was the workshop. It was a small stone building. It smelled like wood, oil, and earth. It was my favorite place as a kid. My grandfather would be in here fixing things, building models, and playing chess. I walked to the door. On a nail by the frame, just as the will said, was a rusty, old, ornate key. I took it. Well, I said to Anna, here's my inheritance. It's beautiful, Leo, she said. She meant it. We went inside. It was dusty, cobwebs, but it was peaceful. And there on the workbench was the chess set, a beautiful hand-carved wooden set. The white king was missing its cross. I remembered breaking it when I was 7. My grandfather had glued it back on. It was still there. "So what does the key open?" Anna asked. I looked around. There was an old cabinet in the corner, a tall wooden piece. It was locked. I put the key in the lock. It was stiff. I turned it. A loud click echoed in the small room. The cabinet door swung open. The cabinet was not full of gold. It was not full of cash. It was mostly empty, except for one shelf. On it sat a simple metal lockbox, the kind you get at an office supply store. My heart was pounding. This was it. I took the box. It was not locked. I opened it. Inside, a thick, old, leather-bound ledger book, a new, slim laptop, and a single silver USB drive. The drive had a small tag on it. For Leo. "Play me first." "My grandfather," I whispered. "He was a chess player. He was always 5 moves ahead." We looked at each other. We did not want to be here, not on their property. "Let's go home," I said. We took the box, the chess set, and the key. We left the workshop. As we drove away, I looked at the mansion. It looked fake, like a movie set. We got to our apartment. We sat at our small kitchen table. I plugged the USB drive into the new laptop. A single video file was on the desktop. I clicked it. My grandfather's face appeared. He was in his workshop. He looked tired, but his eyes were sharp. He looked right at the camera. "Leo," he said, his voice was rough. "If you are watching this, I am gone, and the circus has begun. I am sorry." He leaned in. "I have to tell you the truth. Your father, my son, he is a fool. A good-hearted fool, perhaps, but a fool. He and your mother are obsessed with appearing wealthy. They are not. They are broke." Anna gasped. I just listened. "For 20 years, my grandfather said, I have been paying their debts, their cars, their club memberships, their parties, all of it. I paid for it. They believed it was investment profits. It was an allowance, to keep them from ruining the family name. But the well is dry, Leo." My grandfather's face was sad. "The estate, Willow Creek, it is worthless. It is mortgaged to the hilt. The second mortgage is bigger than the first. The art your mother loves, replicas. I sold the originals years ago to fund their lifestyle. The cars, all leased. The wine cellar, mostly vinegar. I left them the life they have always enjoyed. A life of illusion, a life of debt." I felt sick. He left them a trap. "He left them a choice," Anna said. "He left them the truth." "When I died," my grandfather continued, "my allowance to them stopped. The banks will be calling. The house is in default. The art is collateral on a loan they cannot pay. They are, in a word, ruined." "But Leo, you are different. You never cared for the money. You cared for the work, for the person, for Anna," he smiled. "That is why I left you everything." I did not understand. "Everything?" He gave me a shed. "I spent the last 10 years building a new company," Julian said on the video. "A quiet one. It is registered in Delaware. Julian Holdings. It is a simple holding company. It has no employees. It has one asset. It owns a small, profitable software firm I bought a decade ago. It is debt-free. It generates $2 million a year in pure profit. It is worth, conservatively, $20 million. I stopped breathing. $20 million. This company, Julian Holdings, is now yours. The laptop contains the access. The ledger book contains the accounts. Mr. Davies has the final paperwork, which he filed the moment the will was read. But I wanted you to hear it from me." He was not done. "There is one more thing, Leo. Julian Holdings also owns the debt, all of it. Years ago I bought my son's mortgages. I own the loans on the house. I own the debt on the art. I am his sole creditor." The video feed clicked off. I looked at Anna. I was shaking. "Leo," my grandfather's voice said, He made you your father's landlord and his bank." I was speechless. I was the disappointment, the poor teacher, and I owned everything. We sat in silence. We stared at the laptop. $20 million. It was not real. It could not be. Then my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered. "Hello." "Is this Mr. Leo?" Mr. Leo, last name. The voice was nervous. "My name is Frank. I am the sales manager at Prestige Porsche." My heart stopped. I knew this was it. "Yes," I said. "Sir, I have your parents here, Arthur and Catherine. They are trying to purchase a 911 Turbo S. They listed you as a financial reference." "They listed me?" I asked. "What a joke. They must have been forced." "Sir, their payment was declined. We ran their credit. It's not just bad, sir. There's nothing here. All their accounts are frozen. There are multiple default notices. The bank said their primary residence, Willow Creek, is in foreclosure." "Yes," I said, "that sounds correct." "Well, sir," Frank said, his voice dropping, "your father is causing a scene. He is shouting. He is telling everyone he just inherited millions. He is threatening to sue us. He's scaring the other customers. I don't know what to do. The bank representative on the phone, she gave me your number. She said you are the representative for Julian Holdings, the entity that now owns their debt, sir. Can you please come down here? I think I have to call the police." "I'll be right there," I said. I hung up. I looked at Anna. "My parents are at the Porsche dealership. Their credit was declined. They are causing a scene." "Leo, what are you going to do?" "I don't know," I said, "but I have to go." I drove our simple 5-year-old sedan, the car my parents always mocked. "Still driving that thing, Leo," my father would say. I pulled into the dealership. The showroom was silent. All the salespeople were staring at one spot. My father, he was red-faced. He was yelling at the manager, Frank. My mother was standing by the silver Porsche. She was crying. "I am Arthur. I own the Willow Creek estate. I am worth millions. You will be fired," my father screamed. "Sir," Frank said, his voice trembling, "I have the bank on the line. They say you have no assets. They say you are in default." My father saw me. His face changed. Relief. "Leo, thank God. Tell this idiot who I am. Tell him about the will. Tell him." He was asking me for help. He was using me as his proof of wealth. The son he had humiliated. The son who got a shed. I walked across the pristine white tile floor. Every eye was on me. The man in the cheap suit. The man who drove the old sedan. I looked at Frank, the manager. I looked at my father. "Dad," I said. My voice was quiet. The whole room leaned in. "They are telling the truth." My father's smile froze. "What?" "They are telling the truth," I said louder. "You have no money. The will, it was a test." "Leo, what are you talking about? He gave me the house. He gave me the art." "He gave you the house," I said. "He did not give you the money to keep it. The house is bankrupt. It has been for years. Grandfather was paying for it. Now he's gone. The money is gone." My father looked at me. He did not understand. He could not understand. "But we're rich." "No," I said. I had to say it. "You're not. You're broke. You have been for decades. You were living on an allowance." My mother let out a small, terrible wail. She slid down the side of the $200,000 car. She fainted. She just collapsed onto the floor. My father did not move. He just stared. "Broke," he whispered. The manager, Frank, rushed over with water. "Is she all right?" I knelt. "She's just in shock." The dealership was a morgue. The humiliation was total. It was public. It was final. My mother had posted the picture. Everyone knew. And now this. "Frank," I said, "I am sorry. This is a family matter. We will leave." "But the car," he stammered. "We are not buying the car," I said. I helped my mother to her feet. She was dazed. I put my arm around her. I looked at my father. "Dad, let's go." He looked at the Porsche, his trophy, his dream. He looked back at me. His face was blank. The arrogance was gone. The charm was gone. He was just an old, empty man. I walked them out. I opened the door to my old sedan. My mother got in the back. My father got in the back. They sat next to each other, silent. They looked like prisoners. I drove them home to the grand estate, the mansion, the house I now owned, the house I was about to sell. We sat in the massive, cold living room, the room with the fake art. My parents sat on a silk sofa. They looked tiny. Leo, my mother whispered. Her voice was hoarse. What is this? What did you do? I didn't do anything, I said. I just got a key. I opened the envelope Mr. Davies had given me. Inside was a simple, one-page letter from my grandfather and a check for $5,000. The letter was for my parents. I read it aloud. Arthur and Catherine, you are living in a house of cards. I have left you the house, but you cannot afford it. I have left Leo the foundation. He now owns your debt. He is your bank. The choice is yours. You can ask him for help, or you can declare bankruptcy. This is your final lesson. I hope you learn it. My father's face twisted in rage. He set us up, he humiliated us, and he gave it all to you, the teacher, the boy who got a shed. Yes, I said, he did. Why, my mother cried. Why would he do this to us? We were his family. Because I got married, I said. The words just came out. Because I didn't come to the wedding. No, that's not it. It's because he knew you. He knew you would go to the Porsche dealership. He knew you would not even wait one day. He knew you cared more about that car than you did about me. He knew you, and he was right. The news spread fast. My mother's social media post about the Porsche, followed by the news of the repossession of all their cars, the default notices on the house. They were ruined, not just financially, socially. That was worse for them. My Aunt Myra and Uncle Gene, who had laughed at me, called me. Leo, we had no idea your grandfather was so clever. They were not laughing. They were terrified. They wanted to know if I would honor their $50,000. The estate was sold. The bank, my company, took it. The fake art was auctioned for pennies. My parents had to move. They had nowhere to go. They had no money. They had no friends. All their friends were tied to their status. They had nothing. A week later, they came to my apartment, my small two-bedroom apartment, the one they had always called sad. They sat on my simple cloth sofa. They looked old. They looked defeated. Leo, my mother said. She could not look at me. We have nowhere to go. The bank is taking everything. This was the moment. This was the revenge. I could crush them. I could offer them a $50 toaster. I could tell them to get a job. I could make them feel every bit of the pain they had caused me. I looked at Anna. She was sitting next to me. She was not smiling. She just watched me. I looked at my parents. My father, the arrogant fool. My mother, the cold enabler. They were broken. I will not let you be homeless, I said. My mother started to cry, quietly. I have set up a trust, I said. From grandfather's company. It will pay for a small two-bedroom rental apartment. It will cover your utilities. It will give you a monthly stipend for food and basics. It is not a luxury. It is a floor. You will not be rich. You will not be famous. You will be safe. My father started to speak. A small apartment, he whispered. Yes, I said. It's a good one. It's near a park, but it is not a mansion. The Porsche days are over. This is the new reality. My mother looked at me. For the first time, I think she really saw me. Thank you, Leo, she whispered. They left. The power was gone. The arrogance was gone. Our relationship was different. It was not warm. It was not fixed. I could not erase 30 years of being a disappointment, but it was honest. For the first time, it was honest. Anna and I did not move into a mansion. We stayed in our apartment. We did buy a house eventually. A nice 3-bedroom house in a good school district, not a rich one. We did not buy a Porsche. We paid off all of Anna's student loans. We set up a scholarship fund at my high school, the Julian Fund, for kids who value integrity. I still have the rusty key. It's on my desk. I still have the chess set. I teach my own children how to play. I tell them what my grandfather told me. Do not look at the shiny pieces. Do not look at the king. Look at the whole board. Look 5 moves ahead. My parents are quiet. They live in their apartment. I see them for holidays. We are polite. They are humbled. They are not the people they were. They are not the parents I wanted. But they are the parents I have. My grandfather gave me $20 million, but he gave me something more. He gave me the truth. And he gave me freedom, freedom from their judgment, freedom to be who I am, the teacher, the husband, the man who got the shed, and as it turns out, the man who got everything. My grandfather taught me that the quietest piece on the board can often be the most powerful. My parents only saw the king. They forgot about the pawns. They forgot about the game. Have you ever felt misunderstood or undervalued by your own family just for choosing a different path? How did you find your own peace? Let me know in the comments.